What if? What about Brandon Miller? What are your thoughts on Brandon Miller? Supposedly, after a recent workout, Scooter Henderson and Brandon Miller have their second workout and meeting with Michael Jordan, and Brandon Miller has allegedly solidified himself as the number one pick. This is a guy that people are saying can shoot, can score from all three levels, can defend multi positions. What is your thoughts on Brandon Miller, and what do you think he's worth? Is he worthy of the second overall pick? Or do you think, because we both agree that we think Scoot's the second overall pick in our minds. But is the reason why they want to draft Brandon Miller over Scoot Henderson? Brandon Miller does have a crazy wingspan, but the Hornets are allegedly considering fit over best player available.
So stupid. I think Scoot's clearly the second best pick in the draft. I don't even think, with that being said, I don't think that Charlotte takes Brandon Miller. I don't think that they do it. I think it's all just BS right now. However, if they did, I think drafting for fit would be pretty stupid. However, Brandon Miller at the end of the day is still gonna help them. I can understand he's 6'9", he's almost got a 7-foot wingspan. He's young, he can shoot the three. He's great in the pick and roll. He's sneaky athletic. He's an underrated passer, in my opinion.
I think, I understand the combination of size, shooting, defensive capability, and production. Guys who are this big and versatile do not last long on draft night. I get that, okay? And even if, his ball handling and playmaking don't come through, which will limit his shot creation, this is, I know, is a no-fail prospect. Very high floor. It's very worst case scenario. This is a 6'9" with athleticism and fluidity to guard multiple positions, shoot probably 38% plus from three, and play solid defense. That's the floor. And my bet is Miller turns into a high-level starter in the NBA. And if the ball handling and the playmaking does come around, this is a guy who's going to be able to do some on-ball creation and is going to be able to get stronger and hold off guys and be able to drive to the rim, take mid-range shots, spot up from three, and then go guard 1 through 4. But ultimately, with him going 2 overall, I think what's the thing is he certainly has the upside. But what I think people are getting caught up with him is that I think he's more of a high floor than a ceiling raising guy. He's a floor raiser, not a ceiling raiser. And that's fine if you're a team maybe like the Rockets that are trying to make the jump. Maybe if the Hornets really believe their team is that good. But I think what I worry about is the intersection of strength and athleticism in comparison to the rest of the class, while also his ball handling and his playmaking might actually limit his shot creation ability. So that's my biggest concern with a guy like Brandon Miller. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think that would be as big of an issue with LaMelo at the helm. I think.
Was it reasonable what I was saying though? Did I sound wrong?
Well, I really get people's love for Brandon Miller, and I always say it, he really reminds me of Jabari Smith Jr. last year. I mean that in the sense of they're long, lanky guys who can shoot. They're gonna be successful NBA players
regardless.
They're gonna be double-digit career scorers, and they're gonna be starters, and there's probably some all-star and maybe some all-NBAs in both of their futures. But I agree 100% with the floor than the ceiling. I don't see personally the KD. I can understand the idea that that's what you want to happen. I want that to happen with Jabari to turn into the next KD. But if we're being realistic, I mean, KD's one of the best talents of our generation. So does he have killer mentality? I don't really think so. I don't think he would have choked in all the important games at the end of the year. However, sometimes you just can't shoot. But yeah, man, I'm taking Scoot at 2. And if you're drafting that's what's weird to me is if you're drafting for fit, I don't understand it. Is Oubre going to be back next year? Is Hayward going to be back next year? Is PJ Washington Jr. going to be back next year? That one's actually not looking great. But Scoot Henderson and LaMelo Ball would fit perfectly, in my opinion. LaMelo is so good off ball. He is such a smart basketball player. He always knows where to go. Like, he plays off ball so well, and it would not hinder either of them, in my opinion. And so I would draft Scoot Henderson because they would probably be one of the best point guard duos or one of the best guard duos in the NBA, like, immediately.
I agree with that completely. And playing next to Terry Rozier for what's been basically the first 3 years of the season, undersized guard.
Yeah, undersized guard.
Also a bit ball dominant. He has that experience. And LaMelo's 6'7". If anything, you could tell LaMelo, hey, buddy, maybe we make you the combo guard, okay? And you have Scoot be the guy.
That's what I think would happen. That's what I think should happen.
Rocket News brings up, yes, Brandon Miller Ball could work. It's not even could. They would work.
Yeah, that would be cool too.
They would work, yes, more seamlessly. But I personally believe when you have a top pick, you never draft for fit. You draft the best player available, regardless of the sport. You have a top 5 pick. If you're the number 1 pick in the draft and you already have the franchise quarterback, are you not going to draft a quarterback first overall? Because that quarterback you're hearing could be a generational talent. You do, because look what the fucking Cardinals did. They got the first pick. They said, fuck Josh Rosen after 1 season. And they went out and got themselves Kyler Murray. 1 year after drafting Josh Rosen.
The Bears should have done that this year.
You're not Justin Fields yet? You're a different sport, but
I'm a Packers fan, so I'm definitely not a Bears guy. I don't trust Justin Fields in the slice. He slung at Ohio State, but he doesn't eat meat. I don't really trust him. My cousin's really good friends with him, so I'm sure he's a great guy. But I can't really. It's hard to trust a dude who doesn't eat meat. No, my mom's side. Not the Elstro clan, but.
But no, do you get what I'm saying? Though?
So yeah,
you take
100%.
the best player.
100%. But so here's the thing. That's why I don't really like what I just heard where with them drafting, if they're drafting over fit. You know what? If they are evaluating talent and they think Brandon Miller is a better basketball player, that's perfectly fine. Take Brandon Miller. I'm curious if they view, because this is how I view my Houston Rockets pick at pick number 4, because I'm thinking my projection is Vic, Scoot, Amon. So I'm looking at Brandon Miller and I'm looking at Cam Whitmore and I'm thinking, okay, I want to go best available, but I view them as the same level player. They're on the same tier. I think Cam Whitmore, Brandon Miller, whatever, are on the same tier. So at that point, if I think these guys have the same skill set, if I think Scoot Henderson and Brandon Miller have the same skill set, they're on the same skill level, then I draft for fit. So if that's what Charlotte's thinking, 100%, man, go for it. Do your thing. I feel like it's so easy for myself to get into this mindset of like, Scoot's so clearly number 2. You'd be foolish to not take him. Amon's so clearly number 3. You'd be foolish to not take him.
I agree.
I'll let these teams make these mistakes.
I would draft Amon and Cam Whitmore over Brandon Miller. I think Cam Whitmore and Amon Thompson have a higher ceiling than Brandon Miller. But their floors are lower than Brandon Miller. I'll admit Brandon Miller, out of the 4 prospects, has the highest floor, but I personally believe he has the lowest ceiling, and that's because he's not the best ball handler and he doesn't have the best playmaking ability.
Cam Whitmore can't dribble better than, he doesn't have a handle either. You see it with both of them when their handle's crisp.
Yes, but
they have some plays.
I believe Cam Whitmore, 235 pounds, 6'7", like above the rim athleticism. He's gonna figure it out how to create. Like he doesn't
even need the ball.
He kind of does. He slows down. Cam Whitmore slows down the offense. Cam Whitmore's like an ISO stagnant guy. Hopefully you can teach him.
He only goes left.
There are some flaws with Cam Whitmore.
I would not want Cam Whitmore on
shows the creation in his mind. Like, he knows what he's trying to do, how to create separation. He just didn't do it efficiently in college. Now,
Just can't dribble.
I mean,
And he only goes left.
I think he can dribble way better.
I would take Brandon Miller over him all day.
Dude, I think Cam Whitmore shows way more shot creation.
You know, it is weird, Cam Whitmore last year, because of how bad his team was.
It was.
But I would take Scoop with pick number 2.
Oh, well, so would I. So would I.
I mean, if you want to take Brandon, that's perfectly fine. I thought Paolo at the time going 1 I was shocked. I was shocked Jabari fell to 3. I was like, wow, we just got the number 1 pick in the draft. And
turns out he was probably like the 10th.
You know, turns out Banchero's pretty freaking good.
Turns out,
I think we knew
have
that.
Have you seen the redrafts? They say Jabari Smith's like the 10th pick now if they redrafted.
Oh, Jabari will be perfectly fine. I mean, he can't handle much.
He's a 3-and-D big.
I don't need him to handle much, but I need him to use that. I just, just keep adding tricks. Keep adding tricks to the bag.
So we got some breaking news coming in from Chris B. Haynes, and I want you to take one guess on what that may be, this news that we're hearing.
It's going to be something super lame, like Chris Paul staying with the Wizards.
That actually came out yesterday. We could talk about that. There's the Wizards have came out and said they're envisioning a scenario where Chris Paul remains on the roster.